Hi, my name is Peter and Bailey. That would take me back to 2007. It was actually my first professional show, my first professional contract. I didn't know anything about Blyth, sort of I saw the Equity E-Drive email, and I saw, okay, here's an audition. Let me go and see what this Blyth Festival thing is about. And lo and behold, I booked it, and it was one of those life-altering, professional-changing experiences. One being my professional experience, but also my first time meeting and working with Gil, but also the cast and crew that I got to work with. I worked with Ann Anglin in that show, Andrew Moody, Randy Houston. And I remember distinctly, like, not just the rehearsal process and my time and everything I learned and how much camaraderie there was, but also the closing night, the amount of the cards that I got from all the other, veteran actors at that time telling me, hey, listen, you got what it takes, so just keep doing whatever you're doing, was so pivotal for me, because at that time, I wasn't getting any looks or auditions, period, in Toronto, where, was my home base. So when I left Blyth with that sort of, fire at my back, or the wind at my back, there was no stopping me at that point. So that really opened doors and just gave me a whole sense of self-esteem and confidence in my work that I didn't have before. Play development, having my play, or having a play that I've written to be developed by the Blyth Festival, for me is, the quintessential, full circle for me as an artist. When I came here in 2007 for my first show, I was an actor. I was not a playwright, I was not a voice coach, I was an actor. So to be 27, at the time, and coming in as a 27-year-old, and to be coming back here as a 40-year-old, and to really recognize and to be validated as an artist is, for me, full circle, but also speaks to the Blyth's commitment to development of not just actors, not just stage managers, but artists in general, because that's what we all are, every aspect. But I'm also being able to give back, because, like I said earlier, Blyth opened doors for me. When Blyth Festival's on my resume, that means something. So to have, this opportunity to develop a play, but also the subject matter, is vastly important. Gil's confidence in me and the festival's confidence in me, once again in my work, is undescribable and means a lot. And, for me, anytime I've ever met artists, and they've never heard of the Blyth Festival, I said, listen, audition. You see that audition in your emails, just go. Because, the relationships that you develop here and the people you get to work with is, undescribable, and important work is done here. 2020, the pandemic, and all of the social change and upheaval that has gone on across the globe is only fitting in terms of the content of what my play speaks to, speaking about the life of a Black man, a minister at that, and his life, living across Canada, not just a small town in Ontario, but starting in Cape Breton, going over to Saskatchewan, back to Ontario, to Sault Ste. Marie. So this story to me is a Canadian story. And with everything that's happened in the last year, and it is really about a reckoning about who we are and who we've been as a country and who we've been to each other. And I think when we think about all these things, it's really about community and how we really view each other and our relationship to each other, and the ways in which the pandemic has really forced us to really recognize how much we actually need each other. This social fabric, this social contract with each other, highlights that. The events of George Floyd resonate and have resonated with me, and at times, in some drafts, has made an appearance in these drafts. So writing about this particular Black man's experience in our country that we share is important, I think, in being able to recognize that racism is not something that ends, at the American-Canadian border. Somehow it doesn't trickle up here, that it's a human problem right? So our ability to be able to address that and to be able to witness that on stage and to see how, not only how it forms, but how we work through it and work past that. One of the questions that this play asks a little bit is, how do I minister to people who don't see me, who don't recognize my story, who don't recognize my Canadian birthright? To be able to speak to these issues that afflict us as well as a society, I think is extremely important in this time. And I think we have the ears and the minds to hear it as the pandemic has slowed us down to really listen and see each other in ways that we haven't before. Right, so the Preacher Sings the Blues is based on a Black Anglican church minister who ministered in a number of churches across Canada in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it really examines his life as a minister and ministering particularly and predominantly in all-white churches, and looking at examining his struggles with faith in his own personal life and those challenges. Really how he views his relationship to community and how faith, his faith and Christian faith intersects with all aspects of society and where faith comes into play and what ties us together.